Welcome to another video, guys. All of the class sets got released, so in this video we're gonna cover all of the cards for all 4 classes plus the new neutral, so you guys are better prepared of what you could be expecting when May 5th comes. I hope you find the video helpful, and if you do, a like and subscribe would be awesome, and don't forget you can check me out live on stream each Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. But now, let's get into the cards.
You are not prepared!
So the first card is gonna be the neutral card, which is gonna be the 3 mana free Cultivating Sprite. Get a free cost bulb that casts 3 random 1 cost spells, and this upgrades each turn a lot like Gorgon's Ormu did. Here's what the bulb looks like, and yeah, basically the sooner you play this, the sooner this is gonna amp up into some crazy expensive spells, but spells are definitely pretty random, so I'm not too sure how good this thing is gonna be. And also it doesn't have the wording that targets enemies if possible or anything like that. But to be fair, you could be getting some positive spells too, so it's honestly anyone's guess what's gonna be happening. It is a little bit too much of a random BS card if you ask me, but I guess some people enjoy those. And now let's start with the first class set, which would be the Hunter class set. And here we have the new 1 mana Tame Pet. Replace your future animal companions with random beasts that cost 1 more, and also draw a card. Sounds like a pretty good card if you ask me, and even though this is gonna deny you getting yourself Huffer out of your animal companions, it's still gonna amp up your next beast into a 4-drop or into a 5-drop after that kind of stuff, so it should be good, but it would be a little bit less consistent. Even less consistent than always Huffer. The draw card aspect is also pretty good, but we will see how the rest of the package feels for this to be really good. And the next card here is gonna be the 4 mana Spirit Speaker, which is a 2/2 battlecry. Choose an animal companion to summon. And this kind of sounds interesting, like how do you choose an animal companion to summon? Do you discover it? Because if it's just from Huffer, Misha and Leok, yeah, I'm fine with that, but if you have already done Tame Pets and after that play this guy, would you be discovering from 3 random animal companion beasts? Sounds kind of weird, but I guess we will have to wait and see how that one plays out, so we can really determine how strong this one's gonna be, because right now it kind of sounds like you're gonna be opening your entire collection and choose a beast if you've already played this thing at least. Obviously that's not gonna be how it's gonna work, but definitely feels like this should have been discover an animal companion to summon, because kind of inconsistent in it. We also have another 4-drop here, the free Epic Wasteland Vanguard. Battlecry, deal 3 damage split among all enemies. If any die, deal 3 more. So basically this could be a 4 mana free, deal 6 randomly split among all enemies if you get lucky, that is. Sounds like a strong card, but I'm really not sure how much play this card is gonna see, especially since it has no tribe or anything like that. If it was a beast, maybe, but as a 4 mana free without a tribe, I'm not sure. It sounds like it should be good, but I really am not sure how that's gonna pan out. We also have the 3 mana Migrating Elec, a 3/4 beast. Taunt battlecry, replace your future animal companions with random beasts that cost 1 more. So a lot like the 1-drop, it has the same wording, replace your future animal companions, so technically speaking, you could be going up to all the way to 7 with just the cards from your deck if you add both this and the 1-drop. It is a free drop itself, it does have the beast tag and okay stats and a taunt, so all in all it should be a good card if you ask me. But so far we haven't seen too many ways of actually getting yourself animal companions, so let's see what else we have. And here it is, the 5 mana 4/6 Talia Earthstrider. Battlecry, your cards that summoned animal companions summon 1 more this game. So no, this is not the card that's actually gonna be summoning more animal companions for you. So so far sounds kind of weird, not gonna lie, but this definitely sounds good. Getting yourself an extra animal companion out of cards like that should be pretty awesome, albeit it is sitting on a 5 mana 4/6 body do nothing, so kind of sketchy like that. Cards like that generally don't do too well unless the effect is really worth it, but it's yet to be determined how worth it that effect's gonna be. We also have the 2 mana nature spell, Nurturing Nature. Give a friendly beast +2/+2. Give a random beast in your hand +2/+2. So basically a King's Blessing, but half of it is going to your hand. Kind of decent for only half the price, and it does sound like it should be working decently well in Hunter, but we're gonna have to test it out and see if it really is that worth it. And the last hunter card here is gonna be Roam Free, and this is a 7 mana epic card. Replace your future animal companions with random beasts that cost 2 more, choose one to summon. Well, even though this is kinda expensive, at least you actually get to summon one animal companion, so it is an extra way to actually use the effect of all of those upgraded animal companions. And if you've actually already played Thalia, this is indeed gonna allow it to actually have yourself a couple of big men on the board. All in all, not the worst. And here are the other animal companion cards we have in the game right now. That's gonna be Brawl Beer Mantle, so that's kind of cool. Wonder if that's actually gonna make it into decks. Call Out a Wild is another animal companion card we have in standard. Animal companion itself is also out there. And we also have Patchwork Pals, which gives you all 3 animal companions, but it's honestly kind of weird that we are getting cards like this, because this is kind of weirdly worded, but I guess it makes some sense. So yeah, all in all, it's a nice streamlined package. It does sound like it should be working. It should be able to form some kind of a animal companion archetype, but I'm not sure if it's actually going to be top tier, but it feels like it should be playable. Next up we have Paladin, and here we already saw it's gonna be revolving around Silverhand Recruits, and the first card is gonna be the 2 mana 2/1 Brash Battlemaster, which has Rush, Death Rattle, give your Silverhand Recruits +1 attack this game. It's a nice little cheap card with Rush on it, and I'm wondering if this guy is actually considered a Silverhand Recruit himself, because he kinda does look like it. Technically speaking he shouldn't be, but we've also seen Treants working like that, even though they're not exactly the same cards, so maybe it's gonna work, I don't know, perhaps. But it does sound like a pretty good card if the archetype really does become a meta deck. We also have the 3 mana 3/1 Draenei, Resilient Savior, an epic card with Divine Shield. After this loses Divine Shield, give your Silverhand Recruits +1 health this game. So technically speaking, you could actually abuse this several times if you have a way to give it Divine Shields. That's kind of interesting. A lot actually, because this allows all sorts of possibilities with things like Nasdormu or the location that gives Divine Shields, and there are plenty of other cards like Argent Protector that give Divine Shield. Wait, was it called Argent Protector? Anyway, you know who I'm talking about, the 2 mana 3/2 Battlecry give Divine Shield to another friendly minion. But yeah, this also does look pretty solid. Next up is the 2 mana Convalescence, summon 2 1/1 Silverhand Recruits with Divine Shield. This is a crazy good holy spell, yo. Very, very solid, sitting at 2 mana, and aggressive pally lists are gonna be loving this thing big time. Even if the Silverhand Recruit pally doesn't pan out, I'd say this card will be hella strong. Like, we do remember that other 2 mana pally spell that gave you Death Rattle, couple of Silverhand Recruits, wasn't it? That used to be real strong, and this one is kind of the same, just as sticky as the last one, so should be pretty top tier. There's also the 5 mana weapon, we already saw this one from the patch, Emboldening Blade. It has 3/2 durability, Battlecry, give your Silverhand Recruits +1/+1 this game. I would have loved this if it was a free drop. Sitting at 5 mana, it's a little bit too expensive for the effect. Like a 3 mana 1/2 weapon with that effect would have been insane. Sitting at 5 might be a little bit slow, but still does look like it's going to be a very good card for the archetype if it is going to be working. And here's the legendary for the class, Arator the Redeemer. Battlecry, double the stats of all friendly Silverhand Recruits and give them Taunt. It's also a 5/6 do nothing for the board, at least aside from the Silverhand Recruit action. And this is only for the board, right guys? Like, it would have stated wherever they are, or for the rest of the game or something like that. So I'm assuming this only works as a Battlecry when you play it, which doesn't sound too strong, does it? I guess it could be a good bomb card for after you've established a good Silverhand Recruit army on the board, but for a legendary like this, kinda would have been awesome if it was for the rest of the game or something like that. But I guess that might have been a little bit too strong, so it is what it is. And we also have the 3 mana Charity, get copies of all friendly minions that died this turn, give them +3/+3. That's kinda nutty. You are gonna have to replay them again, but with the added +3/+3 definitely gives you a lot of extra gas, and this can be used in all sorts of different pally decks to great success. And it's also an epic card, so there's that. But yeah, it's an interesting card, gives you a lot of extra gas, a lot of extra value. Maybe other aggressive pallies are also gonna be benefiting from this, if not now, in the future. And the last card here, we have have the 4-mana Teamwork rare card, summon and get 4/1/1 Silver Hand Recruits. That is gonna be a lot of Silver Hand Recruits to be working with, both on the board and in your hand. Sitting at 4 mana, it's kinda expensive, but the effect definitely is pretty worth it, especially with all of the other support stuff we saw for Silver Hand Recruits. Should be pretty awesome. All in all, for Pally, it definitely does look promising. I wouldn't say this is gonna be a super aggressive deck. It's more likely going to be a snowballing type of deal with a little bit of aggressive potential, but for the most part it should be more of a mid-range kind of deck than anything else. Looks promising, but let's see it in action. Moving down to Druid, we have the 1-mana Ashworm, and this is a 6/6 beast, but it starts dormant and it only awakens when you have your board full. Kinda sounds like this is good support for the Quest Druid, but let's not kid ourselves, Quest Druid is just a bait. I don't think it's ever gonna really be a good meta deck. Most of the time with a deck like that, you're gonna be winning despite the quest and not because of it. But this card on the other hand definitely sounds decent, and you basically get to play this thing on turn 1 and later on get the benefit out of it, so kind of good. You could be using it mostly for aggressive decks, I'd assume, and even though you are going to be starting off slow, it's probably going to be worth the payoff a little bit later. Speaking of payoff a little bit later, we have the 5-mana 3/7 Wizened Wildspeaker. We already saw this guy from the patch notes, and this guy is a taunt. If you didn't play a minion last turn, refresh 3 mana crystals. Pretty sick, basically paying only 2 mana for a 3/7 taunt, just because you didn't play a minion last turn, for the most part because you didn't have enough mana to play a minion last turn. Let's face it, Druid doesn't do that too often. Should be pretty solid. Should be giving you a lot of breathing room for you to actually curve into your game plan, ramp, draw, that kind of stuff, while also not taking too much phase damage. Definitely looks like a solid card for all sorts of slower Druid decks, so it should be good. And we also have the 9-mana Life Bloom, an epic nature spell. Restore 8 health to all friendly characters, summon 2 random 8-cost minions. Does sound like quite the powerful spell, a little bit expensive, but it's a nature spell, so technically speaking you could be discovering this from Trail Mix with -2 mana, and that is gonna be pretty sick. And also let's not forget you're gonna be able to ramp a lot and also innervate into it, so you will be able to cheat this out sooner rather than later, but I'm not sure if you're gonna straight out actually run this card in your deck, but you're definitely gonna be happy discovering it with a discount or just discovering it when you actually need it, and that's gonna be good. Next up is the 3-mana common Heartroot Stones, a nature spell that draws a card and gains 3 armor. If you didn't play a minion last turn, do it again. So basically Arcane Intellect that gives you 6 armor as a nature spell just because you didn't play a minion last turn. If you're playing this thing on curve, you're basically not going to be playing a minion anyway, so it's pretty strong like that. And again, you get to discover this with -2 from Trail Mix and all sorts of other things, so it does sound like a very good card you're probably going to be running either way, but also being able to discover it, to draw and gain a lot of armor, definitely speaks to the Druid fantasy. We also have a 2-mana epic location, Tranquil Clearing. Give a minion +2 health and taunt. It falls asleep until the end of your next turn. Huh? Is that good? So this basically means it cannot attack until your next turn, right? That's a new way of wording, isn't it? If another minion attacks into it, does it wake up? I really need to see this card in play in order to really know what's happening here, but feels like Hearthstone is using some weird words with these class sets, not gonna lie. It sounds kinda alright for Druid, like you don't care to chip damage too much if you're going on the defensive, but you're definitely not gonna see this in an aggressive list, that's for sure. There's also the 4-mana 4/4 rare dragon, Seeding Dragon. Taunt, Death Rattle, get a random dragon, it costs 2 less. That's kinda alright. This doesn't feel too top tier, and it doesn't feel like it unlocks any amazing dragon druids opportunities or anything like that. I guess it a little bit dilutes your Merifra druid dragon pool, but not the worst thing in the world to get. But I'm not seeing this card getting hard run into a druid list, is there? Or am I missing something? The legendary for the class is going to be the 7-mana 4/4 Bashana Rune Totem. Battlecry, get free 2/2 treants, carve 12 mana worth of nature spells into them. And this does sound strong, a little bit slow, but strong nonetheless. You will be able to carve some pretty nasty stuff into these bad boys. They're only going to cost 1 mana each. And basically, as soon as you play this treant, that is going to be casting the nature spell that got carved carved into it. And I do believe you're gonna be discovering these nature spells, or am I reading this wrong again? No, it's probably just gonna happen randomly, right? In order for it to give you the 12 mana, thus definitely sound like you're gonna be getting them randomly instead of discovering 3 times. That might have been a little bit too broken. But yeah, a lot of questions in this batch of cards, dudes. Like, usually when you read a card, kind of makes sense how it's gonna go, but I have a lot of questions with these lately, huh? So yeah, all in all, that's it for the Druid class. Doesn't look like it has as a streamlined game plan as the other 2 classes so far, and also Mage has a much more streamlined game plan than what we saw for Druid, but for the most part it definitely looked like it had a good amount of strong Druid cards that are going to be supporting already existing archetypes. And lastly, we have Mage, which just got announced. And here it would be best if I start with the legendary itself, because it's gonna make a lot more sense. And we already saw the 7 mana, the Arcanomicon. An arcane spell, get all 3 ley lines, choose an upgrade for your ley lines. What are the possible upgrades for the ley lines? Your ley lines triggers an additional time this game. Your ley lines cost 2 less this game. And increase the effect of your ley lines by 2 this game. And what are the ley lines we speak of? We have the 2 mana Leyline Nexus, which draws you a card and it costs 1 less. The 4 mana Bursting Leyline, deal 4 damage to a random enemy minion, excess damage hits the enemy hero. And lastly, we have the 6 mana Crystallized Leyline, summon a random 6 cost minion. So it does sound like a pretty interesting and strong archetype you could be building around. And the rest of the cards from this batch of cards also support it quite nicely, but let's go ahead and look at those. We have the 3 mana Leywalker. It's a 4/2 battlecry. Your ley lines cost 1 less this game. Death Rattle, get a random ley line. Definitely would be a staple card if this thing is to be a good archetype, and it definitely looks like it's gonna be. There's also the 4 mana Surge Needle, a free battlecry. Your ley lines trigger an additional time this game. So basically you can stack it with the 7 mana legendary as well. And playing a couple of these is really gonna make him very crazy. That starts to sound quite scary, actually, not gonna lie. There's also the 2 mana 2/3 Mystic Runes Bear, a beast, elusive battlecry, increase the effectiveness of your ley lines by 1 this game. So basically all 3 of these minions are doing exactly what the Arcanomicon are doing, but the smaller minions only do it by 1, whereas the 7 mana spell does it by 2, except for your ley lines trigger an additional time. Sounds pretty powerful, but also very streamlined. I'm not very sure that this is too good for Hearthstone, like basically baby bird feeding us archetypes like this, but I don't know, I guess it's fine. Well, that was quick. Those are all of the cards here, but basically the ley lines themselves are also actual cards you could be including into your deck, so not only are you going to be improving these, but you also get to actually straight out run them in your deck. Bursting ley lines is an epic, whereas the crystallized ley line is a rare, and the Leyline Nexus is a common, so you get to straight out put these cards into your deck and also improve them and get them randomly. So kinda sounds like a pretty solid game plan. Out of the 4 classes, I think the Mage one definitely looks like to be the strongest and highest contender for a actual good deck, but also the Pally Silverhand recruits are looking promising. Definitely is going to be making for a good no-brainer Pally kind of deck, that's for sure. So yeah, that's gonna be it for all the class cards. They are gonna be coming out May the 5th, so be on the lookout for my Twitch live stream as soon as those come out. I surely will be testing out the best new decks once they come out, and you can be sure I'm also gonna be showering you with good YouTube guides as soon as I make them. Hope you found the video helpful, and if you did, a like and a subscribe would be great, and do let me know in the comments which class you think is gonna be the best out of these 4. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.